Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to discuss on the losses that occur in DC motors. So we know that none of the electrical machine is 100% efficient. So that means whatever input power is given to it, the 100% of the power is not converted to output power. So in this case, the electrical energy which we are using as a input to the DC motor is converted as a mechanical energy, but the output power is not equal to the input power. If that happens, then we can say that machine is 100% efficient, and which is purely ideal, and practically it is impossible to have any machine with 100% efficiency. So the designers always focus on to improve the efficiency of a machine. So the efficiency is not 100% because of certain losses in it. So if we understand what are the losses present, and later if we analyze in such a way that how to minimize these losses, then it is possible to improve the efficiency of machines. So let us see what are the losses that occur in DC motors. So first one is called as electrical or copper losses. So these are the losses that occur in windings. Second one is called as a core loss or iron loss. So wherever there is a magnetic path for the established flux to flow, the certain losses that occur in this magnetic path are called as core loss or iron loss. Then we also have something called as a brush loss in DC motor, where the electrical supply to the armature is connected via carbon brushes. So the resistance of these brushes is more than that of the copper. So there will be a voltage drop across these brushes. Hence, there will be a certain amount of power dissipated. And we have something called as a mechanical losses that occur in the DC motors on the output side because of friction and windage and so many other factors. Then we also have something called as a stray load losses. So these are the miscellaneous losses which are not covered above. So we shall have a in-depth look into each one of these losses. So first one, let us have a discussion on electrical losses. These are also called as copper loss or winding loss, whereas the terminology copper loss is used because most of the windings are copper. So we call it as end up calling it as a copper loss, but actually we should call it as a winding losses or electrical losses, because in higher rated machines, sometimes in induction motors, instead of copper, aluminum is used as a conductor in squirrel cage rotors. So that we shall see later when we deal with the induction motors. For the time being, let us call this as electrical losses or winding losses, and let us try to avoid the terminology copper loss, because copper loss can be told only if the winding is copper, and most of the machines have copper as a winding, so this term has become quite popular. Anyways, let us have a look into it. So these are the losses because of resistance in the winding. So all the electrical machines contain conductors, and conductors is a metal, and metal will have resistance, and if there is a resistance, there will be power dissipated across it in the form of heat. So this power dissipated is not useful to us, it is wasted. So that is why we call it as a losses because of resistance in the winding. So wherever windings are present, so first winding which is present is in the armature of a DC motor. So the losses occurring in the armature winding is called as armature copper loss. So here armature windings are copper, so we call it as armature copper loss. Then we have field copper losses, that is a winding which is in series with the armature or in shunt. So that is a series field or the shunt field. Whatever electrical losses that occur in the field is called as field losses. So these are the two major losses that contribute towards the electrical loss. Also it contributes majority of losses in the DC motor. Other than this, we have copper loss in interpole windings. So interpoles are smaller poles present between the actual poles just to boost up the magnetic flux, because when the machine is heavily loaded, some of the air gap flux is weakened because of a phenomenon called as armature reaction. So to compensate that armature reaction, interpoles are used. So these interpoles gives the additional flux which is lost because of armature reaction, and there are windings in these interpoles which are in series with the armature. So since there are windings, copper occur in larger machines, it is not present in smaller machines. So copper loss in compensation windings. So these compensation windings are used in a pole shoe to avoid the distortion of flux. So to avoid the distortion of flux, these compensation windings are used. So next, magnetic or core losses. So these are the losses that occur in the magnetic path. So and the magnetic path is called as a core of a machine. So it is also called as a core losses. And most of the machines, the magnetic path is because of a steel or iron. So it is a familiar term used for this one is also called as a iron loss. So first one is the hysteresis losses, and second one is the eddy current losses. So we are familiar about these two terms, hysteresis and eddy current losses. So this occur in machines when it is repeatedly subjected to the change of flux, and also there are some currents which are induced because of the induction in the metal. So these losses are called as almost constant losses, and in numerical calculation we take these losses as constant losses. So there is another term for this iron losses or the magnetic losses or the core losses, we call it as a constant loss. So the next losses which we are going to discuss is the losses in the brushes. So as I told earlier, there will be voltage drops in the brush axis, and also the brush is made of a material which is having resistance higher than that of the copper. So most of the cases brushes are made in carbon. So the brush voltage drop is given by the term VBD, and this current flowing through this brush is nothing but the armature current. So if we multiply the voltage with the current, we get the power that is dissipated as a heat in these brushes, and it is given by the term PBD. So this brush voltage drop for practical purposes, it is usually taken as 2 volts. More than this brush voltage drop cannot occur unless and until the brush is worn out. So for most of the cases it is taken as 2 volts. So this brush voltage drop, if we consider as 2 volts, then PBD can be given as twice the armature current. So as the armature current increases with the increase in load, the power dissipated across the brush will also increase. So next one is the mechanical losses. So it is difficult to estimate this with the electrical methodology. So we have to go towards the mechanical domain to understand these losses better. So basics of this we have studied in physics. So the shaft is mounted with the help of bearings. So bearing friction loss will occur. There is something called as a windage loss. So this is the friction between moving parts and air inside the machine. So the air drags the rotor in the opposite direction, thus reducing the speed of the rotor, or will also lead to loss of some torque, which is called as a windage torque. So these are the losses that mainly occur inside the rotor. And next, there is one more loss called as a stray load losses. So this is called as miscellaneous losses. So any other losses in no load condition, if occurs, which is not discussed previously. So these are the extra losses that occur because of distortion of flux, or because of some short circuits in the coil. So there will be many conductors present, lap or wave wound, and several conductors will be in a single slot of armature. There, if the insulation of the conductor has failed, and simultaneously if there are two conductors which are having a failed insulation, then the current will not follow the expected path. Instead, it simply takes a shortcut. So this is called as a short circuit current in the coil, and because of this the required armature flux is not obtained, and there will be slight distortion and certain losses occur. So these are unforeseen scenarios, and it is very difficult to estimate this, or approximately find this, or accurately find this. So these stray load losses are usually taken as one full for calculation purposes for larger machines. So let us have a look at this power flow diagram, how the power flows from input towards the output. So let us recall the concept. Electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So as per our discussion, first we have to have electrical power as the input. From there, we get the electromagnetic power in the air gap, and at the end we get the mechanical power output. So now we know that this mechanical power output is not equal to electrical power input because of losses, and thus the efficiency of the system will be less than 100%. So where exactly the above discussed losses occur, that let us see. So first, the electrical power is given to the terminals of the motor via conductor. So here the input power is given by the expression P in is equal to V into IL, where IL is called as the line current, the current which is drawn from the supply. Once this current is fed to the windings of the motor, the electrical losses occur first. So whatever electrical losses occur, the remaining power is fed to the system, and that power is called as electromagnetic power. So the power which is present in the air gap is called as electromagnetic power, and it is given by the equation Pm is equal to E into Ia. So we have seen this equation in the derivation of the torque equation, so we are familiar with it. So once the electromagnetic power is developed, it contributes to a certain losses called as a core loss, friction loss, and windage loss, and also a small amount of stray losses. So after contributing these losses, the remaining power is obtained as the output power, which is the mechanical power, and it is calculated by the using the equation omega into tau L, where tau L is the output torque or the load torque, and omega is the speed of rotation in radians. So this is how the power flows from input side towards the output side, and at each and every stage of power conversion we can see the losses that occurs. So the electrical power is converted to electromagnetic power, and electromagnetic power is converted to mechanical power. So the entire power conversion process takes place in the air gap between the stator and the rotor. So this is where the laws of electromagnetics play a vital role. So that's all we have got in today's video. So please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get the videos as and when it is released. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our another channel, which is Saha Adhyayana, which also deals with the different subjects in electrical engineering. Thank you.